Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto Had the Full 9 Tails, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Sarutobi replied when he saw teams 7 and 8 enter his office. Yes, the mission was a success. Enemy ninja were eliminated, then Anko and her team went on to take out Gato and all his goons at his mansion. Kakashi answered. Alright, well, I'll be expecting mission reports from you and Anko later. Dismissed. Sarutobi stated. Well, while everybody is here, I would like to bring a certain event that happened on the mission. Kakashi said as everybody was turning to leave. The two teams stopped and looked back to the Hokage. The aged shinobi nodded to Kakashi and waved the two teams back in. Go ahead, Kakashi. Sarutobi responded. During a mission when Anko and I returned to the home of Tazuna, we were met with the sight of Kiba Inuzuka in a sling. When I asked Kiba what had happened, the only answer I got was Naruto. So when Team 8 returned, I asked Naruto why he injured Kiba after he ignored me once. He finally said he did because he felt like it. Kakashi explained. That is a serious claim. Injuring a comrade can result in not only failure but possible deaths due to being undermanned, especially when it is confirmed you will be facing enemy shinobi. Do you deny these claims, Naruto? Sarutobi asked. Naruto shook his head. Sarutobi sighed. This time I won't suspend you, but next time I will not be so lenient. Well, now that that's over, Kakashi said as he pulled out his little orange book. You don't seem too frustrated to find out I'm not being punished. Naruto replied. Why would I? The Hokage was willing to let it slide, so I am too. Kakashi answered before pausing. Oh, I see you're surprised that I didn't get mad that the Hokage didn't punish the demon boy, as some would put it. Naruto, I don't see you for what you contain. I see you for what you are, a fine young shinobi who might just be somebody great eventually. Kakashi added with an ice smile. The silver-haired Junin then walked out while reading his Ika. Team 8 report to Training Ground 44 tomorrow at 5 in the morning. Anko stated before leaving the room with a shunshin. Her team soon followed suit. Team 7 looked at the spots Team 8 had once been for a moment before they walked out the door. 3 days later, Team 8 report for another mission and no D-rank crap Hokage-sama. Anko stated as she and her team entered the mission room. Anko, I know you are training them seriously, but I suggest you send them on at least 10 D ranks before they perform another C rank mission. Sarutobi replied. They haven't been on one D rank mission yet. Iruka asked as he turned to the Hokage. But this group has been out the academy for almost 3 months. The Chunin exams are in 2 months from now, and I was expecting Anko to be doing everything to get them ready for that. I am Iruka, and having my genin waste their time doing simple paid chores is not going to do that. Anko retorted. Fine, Anko, if you are so set on keeping from doing D-rank missions, I have one for you. Sarutobi started only to be cut off by a distressed Iruka. But Hokage-sama, how can you let them just bypass the basic of standards of shinobi training? D-rank missions help allow teams to work on their teamwork in safe environments. Iruka argued. That's the thing. I trained them in teamwork and it was in the forest of death with hundreds of my snake summons all over the place. Giving them a D rank now would truly be an insult to their hard work. Anko explained. Sarutobi sighed and looked between both shinobi. If Anko truly believes that her team is ready, I will respect that. Sarutobi finally said. Iruka looked ready to have a heart attack while Anko couldn't keep the grin off her face. Team 8, who had been quiet the entire argument, nodded in appreciation. Now I have a mission that you may find up to your team standards. My Anbu have found out that 10 leaders of gang families are meeting in 3 weeks in a city on the southern border. Normally this would be none of our business, but these groups know of the shinobi arts and send their people out as ninja mercenary. I need you to infiltrate the meeting and assassinate each leader. Make sure there is no way this can be traced to Konoha. Hand me your hitaiatus. Sarutobi said, reaching his hand out across his desk. Team 8 quickly handed the aged Hokage their hitaiatus, and he then pulled out a manila folder from under a stack of papers. This contains mission details. Memorize it completely, then burn it. Dismissed. Team 8 nodded and walked out the door. As the team exited the room, Anko stopped them at the door. This is the real deal. Unlike the last mission, I will leave assassinating the targets to you. I will only provide backup and it will be limited. Anko stated as she read through content in the manila folder. As she finished, she handed to Shino, who also began to read it. The genin passed the folder to Hinata, who in turn passed it to Naruto once she finished. Once the blonde finished, he burned the folder with a basic fire jutsu. Now let's go, we need to be in Jin by yesterday. Anko ordered, jumping off. Looking around, Team 8 realized that they were right by the main gates. With a nod to each other, the Team 8 followed behind Anko. The entire trip took half the day. While moving, Anko discussed tactics and methods to kill the leaders. They paid close attention when Anko explained that they would need to be subtle because the room would be filled with ninja. About a half a mile away, Anko stopped them and led the group from the trees to a dirt path. She handed Hinata a small box before addressing her team. Hinata, inside that are multiple pairs of contacts lens. They will hide you Byakugan eyes. Naruto, there is also some special makeup that will cover your whiskers. Hinata nodded before opening the box and carefully putting on a pair. Naruto just glared as the Junin put the makeup on him. Now from here on in, you three will be on your own. I will be hidden in the shadows watching, but besides that I will not be able to do much more. Now remember, if things get hairy, retreat. I will handle things from there, understood? Anko said, eyeing every member of her team. Each gave a curt nod, and after a moment Anko smirked. Make me proud, brats, Anko said before jumping back into the trees. Team 8 looked at each other before walking the rest of the way to Jin. It's huge, Naruto stated as the three enter the city. Buildings reached to the sky and the street was filled with a sea of people. The city is quite impressive, Shino replied in agreement. Hinata nodded her head. So let's go find some clothing shops. Entering Yoshin's mansion like this would seem suspicious, Hinata said as she looked at the multiple buildings. Naruto and Shino nodded as they followed the young heiress to a clothing shop. Find basic clothing but something that can possibly conceal weapons. I'll do the rest, Hinata stated as she walked to the women's section. Shino and Naruto glanced at each other before splitting off to look for clothing. After around a half hour of clothing shopping, the three genin walked out of the store. Naruto now sported a black leather jacket with blue jean pants. Shino was wearing a gray zip-up turtleneck with black jeans. Hinata chose to wear a lavender blouse with khaki pants. We should head to our new employer, it's getting rather late in the day, Shino said as he looked up to the sky. Naruto and Hinata nodded in agreement before the three began to search for the mansion in the gigantic city. Hello, welcome to the Vong Manor. Can I help you three? A doorman in an all-black suit asked. I and my friends just came to this town and we were told you were seeking employees, Hinata replied. The doorman nodded before gesturing through the door. The trio walked in and had to repress the urge to gasp. The room they entered was extravagant. A giant glass chandelier hung from the ceiling. Stained glass windows, with beautiful images of two armor-clad fighters, allowed light to dance into the room. An entirely glass staircase was situated across the main door. As light bounced off the glass staircase, shimmers of light flickered around the room. Two glass statues of the warriors stood on either side of the staircase. The warriors also decorated the wall in various paintings and tapestries. Yoshin-sama has a deep interest for the battle of Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju. Artwork of the two is everywhere in the home. Now come, I will take you to Yoshin-sama, he should be available, the doorman stated as he led the three through the mansion. True to the doorman's word, every hallway was filled with multiple depictions of the first Hokage of Konoha and the most notorious Uchiha in all history. From paintings to statues, or tapestries and even carvings were located all through the halls. The doorman finally stopped in front of a large door with a carving of Madara and Hashirama locked in combat. Around the two, the Kyuubi's tails were carved, thrashing with the demon itself looming over Madara, growling, while glaring at Hashirama. The bastard will suffer for making me his puppet, Kyuubi growled in Naruto's head. What do you mean? Naruto asked, confused at Kyuubi's sudden proclamation. None of your business, boy. This matter is between me and that accursed man, Kyuubi spat. Naruto, deciding not to press the matter with the demon fox, returned his attention to the doorman who was holding the door open for the three. Naruto was the first enter, followed closely by Hinata and Shino. Well, I presume you three looking for employment, a small stubby man with a goatee and a balding head stated. Just a quick glance at the man informed you of how wealthy he had, designer labels on all his clothes. Yes sir, I and my two friends used to work for Gato-sama, but after his death we have been jobless and wandering ever since. In a trading post just east of this city we were informed that you were seeking workers. We would like to know if there is any truth to that. Hinata explained. Yoshin looked at three for a long time contemplating what they had just said. Yes, there are positions available and I will hire you. Gatu was a dear friend of mine and I can't allow three of his employees to go workless. Lusai showed them to the living quarters. Yoshin stated as wave them off. Wait, what are your names? I am Hikari Shibo. This is Kanashi Suki. Hinata stated gesturing to Shino. This is Bengi Yachi. She then gestured to Naruto. Do your friends talk? Yoshin asked with a raised eyebrow. Actually sir, for the most part they don't. Hinata replied. I have known them for years and I doubt they have spoken more than 10 words together. Yoshin nodded warily before gesturing for them to leave. Lusai led the three upstairs into a long wing of the mansion. You two will sleep together in this room. Lusai stated to Shino and Naruto, opening up a door on the left side of the hall. As Naruto and Shino entered the room, Lusai looked to Hinata. You, ma'am, shall be sharing a room with another female. I believe she is in there now. You three just missed dinner. Lusai then proceeded to open up a door right across the hall from Naruto and Shino. As they entered, they were greeted with the sight of a teenage girl, maybe 6 years older than Hinata, with curly red hair sitting on her bed in pajamas reading a book. Oh hi Lusai-kun, who is she? The girl asked, smiling brightly to the two. Toran-san, this is your new roommate Hikari-san. I assume you can help Hikari-san get acquainted with her new room. Lusai stated. Toran nodded and Lusai exited the room. Well, as you already know, I'm Toran Buki. I'm Yoshin-sama's housekeeper. If you're not informed, I'm the head maid. Toran stated, her voice brimming with pride. Wow, housekeeper, how did you accomplish that so young? Hinata asked. Well, Yoshin-sama noticed my hard work and promoted me when his last housekeeper died of old age. Toran explained. Hinata nodded lightly before glancing at the window. It's late outside, we should be getting to bed. Hinata stated. Toran followed Hinata's gaze and nodded. The bathroom's inside in that door, Toran said, pointing to a door by opposite the two beds. Well, it appears our target is marginally suspicious of us. Shino said as the Naruto laid on their beds. I suppose, but it seems he is more curious to why you and I don't talk. Naruto reasoned. Shino nodded and silence filled the rooms. Why do I have sense something terrible will happen prior to our return to Konoha? Shino said after a small gust of wind blew into the room. For a moment Naruto didn't say anything, but when the Aberrane turned to look at him, he saw the blonde staring right back. I feel it too. Naruto responded. Just be on guard. Over the course of their stay, the Naruto and Shino remained isolated from any employees. After a while, rumors began to spread about the two. One stated that the two boys witnessed the destruction of their entire village and the incident had traumatized the two into silence. Some rumor said that the two were former mimes, but when they left the occupation their vows of silence didn't end. Another wilder stated that they were trained assassins out to kill each other and wouldn't speak until they were just about to end the other. Most rumors were dismissed by Hinata, who simply explained they didn't talk because they never had anything to say. Hinata herself had become quite popular among the workers. Many like her for her kind demeanor, but they also respected her hard work. She and Toran had grown close over the short time together. Toran had taken Hinata under her wing and the two couldn't be spotted apart. Some even said the two were like sister. Toran had even spent time with Naruto and Shino when Hinata went to go relax with the boys. Excuse me everybody, I have a large amount of important guests coming over tonight and I want this place prepared. Yoshin stated to all his servants who he had gathered in the main entrance hall. During which if anybody acts out of place during the dinner, your job is forfeit. Right on schedule, Hinata murmured to Naruto and Shino. What was that? Toran asked. I said why the rushed schedule. Hinata answered without even the slightest hesitation. I know, but Yoshin-sama is always throwing things at a short notice, so you get used to it. Toran explained. Hinata nodded silently before she and Toran left to make sure every room was clean for possible guests to stay the night. Naruto and Shino went into the ballroom to help set up. It took the majority of the day to finish setting up. Once finished, Hinata, without Toran for once, entered the boys' room to see Shino and Naruto only dressed in boxes while Naruto was writing multiple seals on Shino. Hinata blushed deeply before turning to face the door. Naruto-kun, what are you and Shino-kun doing? Hinata asked, stutter returning. Damn it. Naruto growled. Hinata turned around to see Naruto pulling out a stack of Ryo from his nearby pants and handing them to Shino. Hinata then realized what she had done and glared at her two teammates. "You two made a bet about me stuttering," she stated, irritation laced in her voice. "Well, Naruto and I were discussing concealing our weapons, but it is immensely difficult to conceal a weapon such as my bow. Naruto then suggested he write a storage seal on me so I just summon it when needed. I then realized we could do that with all the weapons and proposed this theory to him. Naruto agreed but told me it would be necessary to write where they wouldn't be seen. As Naruto began writing the seals, I stated if you walked in on us while he was writing out the seals you would stutter. Naruto disagreed, so we made a wager and as we all can perceive I won," Shino explained. "Done. Kunai are on your right forearm, shuriken left. Kunai with exploding tags on them are on your right thigh while soldier pills are in the front of your left thigh. Blood pills are on the back of your left thigh. Your bow is sealed on your right shoulder blade since you're right-handed," Naruto explained as he began writing seals on himself. Hinata stared at the two for a moment before looking to Naruto. "Could you place seals on me as well?" she asked, her voice soft and almost inaudible. "Sure, but you realized not only will you need to remove your clothes but because of that dress you're wearing I will need to place the seals in more compromising locations," Naruto explained. Hinata looked down at her dress and realized what he meant. She was wearing a dark purple backless sheath dress that went down to her mid-calf and had thin straps to keep it up. The front of the dress dipped low enough just to show the smallest amount of cleavage, while a slit on the left side of her dress went all the way up to her mid-thigh. She also wore matching 1-inch heels. Hinata blushed at the realization of what Naruto would have to do but took a deep breath and nodded. "If I can trust you and Shino-kun with my life, I can trust you too with the last of my modesty," she replied, even though a bright neon red blush highlighted face. With that said, Hinata removed her dress showing she was only wearing lace purple panties. Naruto finished the seals on himself before writing seals on her, glancing at the dress to make sure that they would be covered by the dress. "All right, I'm finished. Kunai located just above your left hip, shuriken just above your right. Your bow is located right below your left breast with arrows located below your right in sets of 20 arrows in each down to your navel. There are 10 seals with highest one holding your quiver as well. There is a seal with soldier pills on the front of your right thigh while kunai with exploding tags on the back your right thigh. Now I need both of you to add some chakra to all your seals. It will be your base and will be how much chakra is going to be needed to get one weapon, so make sure it's a little as you can use without having to focus on it for more than a split second," Naruto explained to them as he started doing as he had said. Once completely finished, the three got dressed, Shino and Naruto both in basic tuxedos, before heading down to the ballroom. Upon entering they noticed not only were there already a few workers in the room but a few guests had shown up as well. The trio split off and began working while keeping a close eye on the guests. Within an hour every chair was filled and Yoshin walked into the ballroom. "Welcome my friends. This night has the making of being a monumental event, but before we go do that we eat," he shouted and received a loud applause. Yoshin took a seat at the largest table with what Naruto, Shino, and Hinata recognized as the various crime bosses expected to show. The trio along with other workers began bringing out food and setting them at the tables. The room was filled with conversation as people ate. Soon after they finished, people began to ask for the sake, but before the workers could go get them some, Yoshin stood and waved them off. "Now my friends, I have an offer for you that will benefit us all. The missing ninja Orochimaru has requested the service of a large number of my ninja for his upcoming plot to destroy Konoha. I agreed, but I soon realized my force were nowhere near enough to meet his request. That is why I brought you all together. I propose we join together into one crime family and rule together as equals," Yoshin said. Many people in the room looked to the man with raised eyebrows. Hinata, Naruto, and Shino almost gaped at the information. "You suggest we rule together as equal? How would we do that?" a portly man asked from seat. "Figo-san, we will have council that will have the family's head member as a member on it. We will meet weekly to discuss matters of importance and vote on how best to solve them," Yoshin explained. Figo nodded. "What of Orochimaru's plot? When is it?" a tall-skinned man with a mustache asked. "Orochimaru plans to attack his old village during the final portion of the upcoming Chunin exams. Yoshin said. Naruto glanced at Hinata and Shino before nodding. With a quick hand sign, the room was littered with Naruto's shadow clones that wasted no time in killing as many of the stunned people as possible. Hinata and Shino added chakra to their seals, drawing their bow and staff respectively before they joined the clones. Before the crime lord realized what happened, the room was littered with the dead bodies of their henchmen. Naruto, Shino and Hinata landed in front of them, weapons drawn and at the ready. We can't allow you to aid the traitor in the attack of our village. Your lives are now forfeit, Shino said. Hinata raised her bow and fired an arrow right at Yoshin. Just as it was about to impact his skull, the man caught it and snapped the arrow in half. Foolish children, while I admit you are strong to take all our men and not even appear fatigued, we are all at least Junin level. I'm sorry to inform you, but this room will be your final resting act. Yoshin started only to stop as he looked down. The man then saw the end of a red blade penetrating his chest. The man looked around to Naruto holding a trench knife into his back. Then to Naruto's surprise, the man smirked. Before Naruto could move, the gang leader turned into vines and wrapped around Naruto. As the blonde struggled, Yoshin appeared out, now holding a kunai to his throat, only for it to be blocked by a tail of chakra. So you're the demon child of Konoha. It will be a pleasure killing you, demon. Yoshin replied with a smirk on his face, but before he could respond, a tail of chakra shot through his head from behind. Naruto smirked as he watched the body fall to the ground. Like you could, Naruto snorted with a flex. The vines snapped off Naruto like tissue paper, revealing to everybody the blonde was only acting trapped. Now, as my teammate said, your lives are now forfeit, Naruto said with a smirk as his eyes blazing red. Naruto charged the men as they began to draw out various weapons. Hinata and Shino charged the men from the other side and the group split half. 5 of them took on Naruto while the other 4 went after Hinata and Shino. Almost instantly, Naruto realized that unlike Yoshin, these men weren't going to die easily. Whenever Naruto was about to kill one of them, another 2 would attack him while the other 1 would aid the member Naruto had almost killed. After a while, Naruto began to grow bored of the game and shot his chakra tails at the 5 gang leaders. The men dodged to the side, but Naruto smirked and spikes of red chakra shot out the tails and pierced the men. Just as Naruto withdrew his tails, a lone man pulled out a handful of senbon and launched them at Naruto. The blonde tilted his head but gasped in realization when the man smirked as he fell to the ground. Naruto turned around to Hinata, using her bow to block a katana just as the senbon pierced her throat. Before she could touch the ground, Naruto was there and caught her. Naruto-kun, there is something I have to tell you, Hinata whispered. No shush, conserve your energy, we'll get you out of here, Naruto replied as his chakra tails blocked various attacks people sent at the duo while they were distracted. Hinata shook her head. I have to tell you, she whispered. Her voice grew softer with each word. Naruto-kun, I love you. What? Naruto asked as Hinata took her final breath. Hinata's eyes closed and an ominous feeling filled the air. On instinct, everybody, including Shino, backed away from the silent blonde. Then suddenly his tails began to thrash around wildly, destroying anything they touched. Shino, realizing that he may be in danger, used a shunshin to get to a safe location. The gang leaders, though, jumped back in surprise and watched as the tails began to darken, losing their transparent red color and turning a deep blood red with black areas. Once all the tails had changed color, Naruto's body was engulfed, forming a tight skin-like shell over him. Naruto stood and turned to face the men with Hinata still in his arms. His eyes simply white circles while his face was black like he was wearing a mask. This is your fault. I'll kill you. I'll kill you all and raze this city to the ground, Naruto growled, his voice now deeper and more demonic. The men back away from the enraged boy in fear, but Naruto let loose a vicious roar at the men that not only blasted him away but the entire side of the building his attack was aiming. As Naruto slowly walked toward the rumble, the men were in the tails began to grow in size until they were the size of large trees. As the tails continued to swing wildly, their large increase in size caused them to start destroying the mansion. Naruto then placed Hinata on his back and one of the tails instantly shrunk back to normal size before wrapping gently around Hinata and Naruto to make sure the girl stay on his back. Naruto looked forward to see some movement in the rumble his attack had created. The boy glared before raising his arm, and a gigantic chakra arm formed. The arm itself was twice the size of the mansion they had stayed in and destroyed what remained of the building. With a growl, Naruto slammed the chakra appendage down on the area he had seen movement and smirked when he moved the hand to see a large pool of blood seep from under the rumble. Workers too, Naruto guessed with a shrug before he swung his arm, destroying the nearest building. Screams of panic filled the air, only to be silenced as Naruto's other hand enlarged and destroyed ponded the building to dust. Naruto growled and his tail shot forward, extending in size, and began knocking buildings over. Naruto then proceeded to crush the buildings with his arms. Just as the boy was about to move, a rock hit him in the head. Naruto turned to see a large mob of men standing with various weapons. Naruto smirked at the group before a small black ball began to form in front of his mouth. Once the ball stopped growing, to the surprise of the mob, the blonde swallowed it. Suddenly Naruto's arms shrank to normal size and dug into the ground. Naruto's body started to enlarge and until he looked ready to burst. With a muffled growl, Naruto opened his mouth and an enormous beam of energy shot toward the mob, completely annihilating them and everything in that direction farther than the eye could see. Naruto roared into the sky, shooting a wave of energy into nothingness. Looking back to the ground, the boy continued to destroy the once beautiful city until nothing more than rumble and bloodstains filled the area. Seeing nothing more to destroy, Naruto drew back in the chakra and held Hinata in his arms once more. Naruto looked at her face and a lone tear fell from his eyes. With sigh, the blonde pulled out the senbon in her neck and sank to his knees. Footsteps alerted Naruto and his tail shot out from his lower back, the usual transparent red color. Naruto turned to see Anko with Shino walking up to him. "Wow brat, your temper tantrums are no joke," Anko stated, looking at the remains of the city. She's dead," Naruto said, looking back at Hinata. "It's in the job description. She knew that there was the chance of dying the moment she began shinobi training." Anko replied. "I know, but she told me she loved me," Naruto replied. Shino and Anko just looked at the blonde. "Nobody except my Yamato has ever said that. How could she love me? I'm a monster. I destroyed this city. How? Why would she love me?" "You let Kyuubi get control," Anko started, but Naruto cut her off. "No, I did this. This was all me. I knew exactly what I was doing and you something. It felt amazing. Their screams satisfied me. Their looks of pain, anguish, helplessness, and fear brought me joy. I was ecstatic whenever I saw their blood and ashes," Naruto said, cutting her off. Anko just looked away. The area was filled with awkward silence. "I recommend we return to the village," Shino said, breaking the silence. "You're right, let's go. Naruto, carry Hinata," Anko ordered, and the three took off toward Konoha. "How much further are we?" Naruto asked. "The village should come into view in a few hours," Anko replied. "Naruto, I want you to take Hinata's body to the Hyuga house, then meet us at the Hokage Tower." Naruto growled but nodded. "Shino, you haven't talked since we left, what's the matter?" Anko replied. "This is my fault," Shino answered. The team stopped and Anko and Naruto turned to face him, surprised. "I saw the senbon coming, but I was in the lock with one of the men. If I had been stronger, I could have stopped this. Shino, I was the one who dodged the senbon instead of blocking them with my chakra tails. If anybody is to blame, it's me," Naruto said, his voice getting quieter as he spoke. "You're both acting like babies. Shit happens on missions. Hinata is dead and going over the what-ifs isn't changing anything," Anko reprimanded. "Now stop acting like babies and let's get back home." The rest of the trip was finished in solemn silence. Anko gestured to Naruto and the blonde took off toward the Hyuga compound. The blonde landed in front of the door only to be cut off by one of the guards. "What is your business here?" the guard asked, glancing at Hinata's body. She died on our mission and my sensei told me to bring the body back to you," Naruto replied. The guard suddenly activated his Byakugan. Naruto jumped back into a defensive position while still holding Hinata. The guard rolled his eyes. "I don't wish to fight you and I suggest you get her to the hospital quickly. She's alive but barely," the guard said. Naruto froze and the guard glared. "Go now." Naruto nodded and was gone in a burst of flames. He was gone in a burst of flames. "Brat, what took you so long?" Anko asked, glaring in the direction of the Hyuga manor. "I was at the hospital. When I got to the Hyuga compound, a guard told me that Hinata was still alive, so I rushed there. They said she in an induced death-like state due to the senbon needles being removed incorrectly, but they would be able to revive the end of the night," Naruto explained. Shino, did you examine Hinata's body? Anko asked. No, Naruto went into his enraged state before I could, but I doubt I would have been able to find that. My diagnostic skills are lacking, I haven't had anything to practice on for that. Shino replied. Well, it doesn't matter as long as our teammate is alright. Anko explained. With that said, the team entered the Hokage Tower and made their way to Sarutobi's office. Anko, how was the mission? The aged Hokage asked before taking a long drag from his pipe. Where is Miss Hyuga? Hinata is in the hospital. The mission to assassinate the gang leaders was a success, but there was a complication. Anko said. Sarutobi gestured for her to continue. Well, Jin has been reduced to rubble. Sarutobi froze and his pipe fell from his mouth, landing on his desk. How? Sarutobi managed in his stupor. During my team's final battle with the gang leaders, Hinata Hyuga was hit with what appeared to be a fatal blow. Naruto went into a rage and not only killed the rest of the gang members but destroyed the entire city as well. Anko explained. Jin is the largest city in the Land of Fire and one of the largest cities in the elemental nations. Do you know what could come from this event? The daimyo could very well ask for Naruto's head. Sarutobi said, panic slipping into his voice. Naruto didn't respond. Don't you care for your life, Naruto? Sarutobi asked. Naruto looked into the eyes of the Hokage and the aged man almost shuddered. If they come for me, I will kill them. Naruto stated in a bored tone, but to everybody else it seemed more like a promise. Sarutobi, rubbing his temples, chose to ignore the statement and look to Anko. There was a Junin meeting yesterday. The Chunin exams are coming up and I need to know if your team will be participating in it. Sarutobi informed the Junin, changing the topic. Anko looked to her team. When Shino nodded, she directed her attention to Naruto. Is killing allowed in the exams? The blonde asked. Anko nodded. Then yes. I doubt Hinata will disagree, so my team is in. Anko said. Sarutobi nodded before reaching into a drawer and pulling out 3 pamphlets. He then tossed one to each genin and handed Anko one for Hinata before he said. Fill them out, then turn them to class 310 in the academy on the day of the exam. You all are dismissed. 2 weeks later, well brats, the Chunin exams are tomorrow and I expect you all to impress me. Anko said, looking at her team. They nodded and Anko grabbed them all in a hug before she pretended to break down into tears. Good luck, mommy, Anko will always be proud. She said between her fake sobs. Letting them go, Anko smirked and left in a shunshin. The Hinata and Shino looked to Naruto, who simply walking off. The two decided to follow the blonde, seeing as they had nothing else to do. The trio wandered around the village until they saw a little boy running from Sakura. Teammate watched as the boy turned the corner only to run into a large teenage boy with face paint on and a bodysuit and a hood with cat ears on the top. The teen grabbed the little boy and that was when team intervened. I suggest you put him down before I kill you. Naruto whispered, now standing behind the teen with a trench knife to his neck, lacing his words with killing intent. To Naruto's surprise, the boy visibly paled and slowly released the little boy, who ran to a kneeling Hinata. You're just like Gaara, aren't you? The teen said. Naruto shook his head. No, Naruto whispered, causing the teen to shudder. I'm definitely worse. Kankuro, a voice called out. Naruto glanced behind him to see a teenage girl with blonde hair put up in 4 pigtails and a giant battle fan on her back. Temari, don't he's, Kankuro started but was cut off as when Temari pulled off the fan and swung it at Naruto. The blonde boy smirked when a gust of wind shot toward him. Naruto gathered Kyuubi's chakra in his mouth and just before the wind made contact with him, the Naruto released it in a vicious roar. The roar negated Temari's attack and continued onto her, slamming her into a nearby building. So this is the best Suna has to offer, pathetic. Naruto said, lifting up Kankuro and throwing him into the wall Temari was stuck in. 2 grunts of pain caused Naruto to smirk before he sighed. I know you're there. Come down or I'll make you. Naruto growled. A sand shunshin appeared in front of Naruto and in its place a red-headed boy with a large gourd on his back looked right at Naruto. Who are you? The boy asked. If you're not careful, I will be your executioner. Naruto growled, blasting the boy with killer intent. To his surprise, the boy on slightly raised an eyebrow. No, I don't think you will. The boy replied before blasting Naruto with just as much killer intent. Naruto smirked. Cute, you can unleash a little bit of killer intent. Naruto said before doubling his killer intent. The red hair, to his surprise, increased his killer intent farther than Naruto. Not one to be outdone increased his killer intent too. Soon this little game became too much for some nearby bystanders and people began fall to their knees. After a while Team 8 and Team 7, who had just shown up, fell to the ground from the increased killer intent. Moment later Junin and Anbu began to surround the two boys. Right as one was about to make a move the cork on Gaara's gourd popped off and sand began whipping around him while Naruto's chakra tail shot out and began thrashing around him wildly. As the killer intent increased even more the Junin and Anbu backed away from the two murderous boys. Then like a silent message was sent the boys disappeared, one in a fire shunshin the other in a sand shunshin. The killer intent faded and the upper rank ninja gaped at where the two were just at once were. Captain, what are they? And Anbu asked the captain who was outfitted in an all-white suit. I don't know, but those two alone together might spell disaster. Find them and separate them immediately. The captain ordered. How do we find them? The Anbu replied. Before the captain could respond, two waves of killer intent, even stronger than before, washed over the village. The captain looked to the origin of the killer intent and saw something that almost paralyzed him in fear. On the Hokage mountain the two boys stood arms crossed with sand and chakra tails ramming into each other as they thrashed around their respective user. Above the boys it appeared as the form of the Kyuubi and what seemed like the mix of a raccoon and dog snarling at each other. Stop them now, the Anbu captain shouted, voice filled with panic. But before anybody moved two figures appeared by the boys and shouted. Naruto, stop this immediately. Sarutobi shouted to the blonde. Gaara, enough. The figure dressed in the attire of Asuna Junin yelled. Then, just like that the two boys' killer intent receded and Gaara's sand retreated into his gourd while Naruto's tail seeped back into his lower body. The boys turned to their respective leaders and glared. If you stop me again, I'll kill you. They both said coolly before they left in two Shunshin jutsus. The next day Naruto, Hinata, Shino entered the academy and made their way upstairs to room 310. Upon entering the second floor they saw a group of people standing in front of two teens who were blocking the entrance to a room that had 310 on it. Realizing these kids had been fooled by the genjutsu, Hinata gestured to the stairs further down the hall and Team 8 quietly snuck by everybody as not to draw attention. Walking up the stairs they were met with the vision of multiple Junin standing in the hall. They looked around and saw Anko standing with the Junin instructors of the rookie squads. Seeing her, Team Anko walked over to them. Well, your test is in there, good luck and watch each other's back. Anko stated before shoving her team through the door. As the team recovered they noticed everybody was looking at them. Naruto growled and flooded the room with killer intent. I suggest you all stop staring or this exam will be the last one you ever take. The blonde growled. Almost instantly everybody turned to look in other directions. Naruto scoffed. Pathetic. He mumbled under his breath. Naruto walked over to the nearest wall and sat down leaning his back on the wall. Hinata took a seat in front of the blonde and Shino simply stood leaning on the wall. The team relaxed in silence for less than 10 minutes when the door slammed open to reveal Sasuke with Kiba and Sakura standing to his sides. Naruto attempted to ignore them but Sakura shrieked his name and the blonde could no longer fake slumber. Naruto opened one eye to see Sasuke and Sakura standing right in front of him. What? Naruto asked in no mood to deal with the other team. Watch your back because I'm coming for you. Sasuke said only to turn around and be engulfed in a hug by Ino. The platinum blonde whispered something in the lone Uchiha's causing him to blush profusely but nod his head. Sakura glared and proceeded to try and yank Ino off Sasuke much to the displeasure of Ino and if you looked closely Sasuke. Naruto rolled his eyes at the spectacle but this caused him to catch Kiba flirting with Hinata. As the Inuzuka began to draw closer Hinata slowly shifted backwards but this resulted in her pressing into Naruto's chest. When Hinata realized she was now positioned in Naruto's lap she blushed but made no indication of moving. Naruto glanced at Hinata to see she was moving her hand toward her hip ready to draw a weapon but Naruto gently grabbed her wrist and stopped her. The blonde looked over her shoulder and glared at Kiba. The Inuzuka growled at Naruto but continued talk to Hinata drawing closer with each sentence. Soon he was only a few inches away from Hinata and getting closer. Right as he was about to make contact a chakra tail wrapped around Kiba's neck and forced him away. I will tell you one time. Stay away from her. Naruto growled as Hinata glanced over her shoulder to look at Naruto. Thank you, she whispered to him. Naruto glanced down at her but said nothing. He then released his hold on the Inuzuka and letting the chakra recede back into his body. You guys should quiet down, you're drawing a lot of attention. A tall teenager with silver tied into a ponytail and glasses stated as he walked up to the group. Obviously they didn't take my promise seriously. No matter, that just leaves more people for me to kill. Naruto growled. Wow, cool it. Now is not the time to take out your competition. The silver-haired boy said. Naruto killer intent spiked, causing everybody in the room to tense, but the blonde immediately dropped and looked at the newcomer. And who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do? Naruto asked coolly. Kabuto Yakushi. The silver-haired boy said. Well, you must be here for a reason, so what do you want? Shikamaru asked, looking at Kabuto warily. I'm just here to help you rookies out. Kabuto said. This exam's no joke, trust me, I know. How many times have you taken the exam? Sasuke asked. I have taken the exam 7 times. So this is my 4th year. Kabuto replied sheepishly. Wow, a veteran, you must be an expert on these exams. Sakura stated. Naruto, Shino, Kiba, and Shikamaru rolled their eyes. Some expert, he's never passed. Shikamaru retorted. So the rumors on this exam being really tough are true, troublesome. Hey, don't get bent out of shape, I just might be able to help you guys out. Kabuto replied, pulling out a fairly large stack of cards from his pocket. You'll help us out by playing cards with us? Kiba asked, confused. No, these are ninja info cards. I got information on just about everything in these exams. Kabuto, pride sprinkled in his voice. Do you have people? Sasuke asked. Sure. Who do you want to know about? Kabuto asked with a slight grin. Rock Lee of Konoha, Gaara of Suna, and Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha, Sasuke listed. Naruto glared at the Uchiha. You even have their name, that's no fun. Kabuto pouted while pulling 4 cards from the stack. Let's see, Gaara is of a team consisting of his 2 siblings Temari and Kankuro, led by Jun and Baki. I don't have much on his skills since he's from another village, but it does say he been on 8 C rank missions and 1 B rank, and get this, he's never been scratched. Kabuto said, causing most of the rookies to gasp in shock. Now the Rock Lee is on a team consisting of Neji Hyuga, last year's number 1 rookie, and Tenten, led by Jun and Maito Gai. As for skills, it says his taijutsu has spiked in the last year, but his ninjutsu and genjutsu are still horrible. He has been on 20 D ranks and 11 C ranks. Kabuto said while Sasuke nodded. Last, Naruto Uzumaki, his teammates are Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame, led by Jun and Anko Matarashi. He excels at ninjutsu and taijutsu while his genjutsu is average. He has been on WoW. Naruto and his team have been on only 1 B rank mission and 2 A rank assassination missions, and Naruto's never been scratched on a mission either. Kabuto replied, staring amazed at the blonde. The other rookies look at Naruto with shock. I think you know more than you should too, those missions were off the records. Naruto said, his eyes turning deep red and his pupils becoming slits. Kabuto took a step back and brought up his arms in defense. Hey, just relax, no need to do anything irrational. Kabuto tried to convince Naruto. Naruto glared and extended his arm, grabbing Kabuto in a chakra arm. No, I think you need to die. Naruto said as he began to crush Kabuto in his grip. Hey, release him now or you and your team will be eliminated from the exams. A tall man with a bandana-styled Hittite and a trench coat yelled from the front of the room. Naruto glared at Kabuto and released him. Watch your back, your days on this earth are limited. Naruto growled. Kabuto nodded and adjusted his glasses. Now, first rule, if you are caught fighting any time outside the permission of your protector, you will be eliminated. The man said, his voice booming in the room despite his calm demeanor. Now everybody come to front and receive a number from this table, then take a seat at the corresponding chair. The man said, pointing to the table in the front of the classroom. After a moment, all the participants were seated somewhere. Now, my name is Ibiki Morino and I will be your first proctor. The man said once he had regained everybody's attention. Now the first portion of the exam is a test that is being administered to as I speak. Now there are 10 questions and the first 9 are on your sheets. The 10th question will be given to you all after 2 hours. Why do we have to wait for final question? Kiba asked in his seat toward the back. I will say this one time because I forgot to mention it. If you interrupt me while I speak, you and your team will be eliminated. Abiki said, ignoring Kiba's question. Now, unlike the other test, you will start with a score of 10 out of 10, 100%, and for question you get wrong, your score will be lowered accordingly. One last thing, cheating will not be tolerated. If you are caught cheating, you will lose 2 points. If you get caught 5 times, you and your team will fail the exam. If you get caught cheating, you don't even deserve to be chunin. Begin. Abiki stated. These questions are impossible, Naruto thought as he went over the questions. Stupid human, you're an insult, look around. Kyuubi growled in Naruto's mind. Naruto held in any comments and glanced around the room only to smirk. Multiple other genin were cheating, some better than others, as a protector had just called out a number resulting in 3 kids exiting the room. So the point is to cheat, but how to do that? My skills don't really suit information gathering, Naruto thought as he mentally went over his jutsu arsenal, trying to find one that could help him cheat. Fuck, now is not the time to realize I'm seriously lacking in this. Naruto continued to berate himself for his lack in skills when it came to information gather until saw multiple insects crawling up his desk and on his paper. Naruto glanced forward to where Shino was sitting and noticed a line of insects crawling under the desk from Shino to him. With a smirk, Naruto used his left arm to block his paper from the view of the ever-watchful proctor in his row. Once he did that, the bugs began to align themselves into the answers and Naruto copied the answers the insects form. When Naruto finished, he watched as the insects stealthily returned to Shino. Naruto then looked at the clock and saw that the final question wouldn't be administered for another hour, so the blonde drifted off to sleep. When the time limit ended, Abiki coughed to draw the attention of the class. Though his cough was soft, in the dead silence of the room it sounded more like a bang. Glancing around, Abiki noticed that Naruto was sleeping still while even Shikamaru was waking up slowly. Heavy sleeper, Abiki thought before taking out a kunai and launching at Naruto's forehead, the handle forward instead of the point. Just as the tool was about to make contact, a tail of chakra shot from behind Naruto and deflected weapon. Naruto growled as he got up and glared daggers at the proctor. Abiki rolled his eyes before turning to the rest of the class. Now I will give you the final question, but there are 2 options. You can leave now, you and your team will be eliminated, but you can take the exams another time. Abiki stated before he was cut off. Why would anybody choose that? A leaf shinobi asked. You and your team are eliminated. I said if I'm interrupted again you will be failed. Abiki growled. The ninja began to protest but forcibly removed by one of the chunin proctors, his team following behind solemnly. Now then, if you choose to take the final question and you get it wrong, not only will you and your team fail, but you and your team will never be allowed to take the chunin exams again. Abiki said calmly, only for the room to exploded in shouts of objections. That's bull. I know for a fact that there are people here who have taken this exam before. Kiba shouted over the crowd, earning yells in agreement. That's too bad. I'm the protector here and what I say goes, but if you don't like the risk, leave. Abiki said, and slowly but surely multiple teams began to quit. The original amount of genin teams had started off at around 200. After the 2-hour test taking session, that number had dropped to around 150. 10 minutes after Abiki had given the kids the option of leaving, that number had shrunk to 54 teams. Abiki looked around and saw there were around a dozen people shifting nervously, appearing to be ready to drop out. Just give us the damn question already, Naruto growled from his spot. To Abiki's surprise, the genin who had been ready to quit began to show anger and determination in their eyes. The proctor inwardly chuckled when he realized that they didn't want to be shown up by the rookie. Seeing as holding out longer wouldn't change anything, Abiki nodded to the rest of the proctors. Congratulations, you all pass, Abiki said as he looked back to the genin. For a moment the group some stood with shock while others smiled, a select few even had faces of indifference. Right as Abiki was about to say something, a swirl of rose pellets materialized next to next. When they faded, in their place stood Kurenai, arms crossed and glancing around the crowd critically. You left 54 teams, Kurenai said as she glanced to the taller proctor. What are you getting soft? Perhaps this year's bunch are stronger than usually, Abiki stated, glancing back at Kurenai. The red-eyed Junin shrugged. Doesn't matter, my portion will definitely cut the number down by at least half, Kurenai said, just loud enough for everybody to hear her. Many of genin paled at the comment, but Kurenai left no time for explanation. Be at training ground 44 in 10 minutes. If you're not there when time expires, then you and your team will be automatically eliminated from the exams. Kurenai said before she left the room in a rose shunshin. Naruto, Hinata, and Shino stood silently as the other genin looked cautiously at the forest of death. Kurenai sat on a tree branch hanging over the fence surrounding the forest. The red-eyed Junin glanced at a stopwatch before jumping down in front of the genin. Welcome to Training Ground 44, also known the Forest of Death. This is where the second portion of your exam will take place. Kurenai said as she gestured the caged forest area. Home sweet home, Naruto murmured sarcastically, earning chuckles from those close enough to hear him. Kurenai glared and launched a kunai at the blonde with blinding speed. Naruto smirked, then using almost impossible reflexes the blonde caught the knife between two fingers. Before Naruto had time to react, a tree sprung from the ground and its branches wrapped around Naruto, pinning him to the tree. Kurenai came out of the tree and took the kunai in Naruto's fingers before placing it on his neck. Nice trick, but you got that from our sensei, Naruto stated. Kurenai glared at the blonde but gasped when she felt cold metal press against her throat. So we know how it works. A voice came from behind. Kurenai glanced behind her to see another Naruto sitting on a branch of the tree she formed, holding the blade of one of his trench knives to her throat. I like the personal touch with genjutsu at the end though. Shadow clone? Kurenai asked. Naruto smirked but shook his head. I'm not, but he is. Naruto said, then the blonde bound to the tree dispersed in a cloud of smoke. Kurenai sighed before releasing the genjutsu and returning to the front of group, her pride having taken a major blow. Kurenai turned to the genin and began to explain the exam. Now for the second portion of the exams, you will either be given this heaven scroll, Kurenai said, lifting up a white scroll, or this earth scroll. Kurenai lifted up a black scroll with her other hand. The point of the exams is to retrieve the scroll you don't have, then make it to the tower in the center of the forest with both before the end of your time limit, which is 5 days. The genin immediately understood why Kurenai had said the numbers would definitely be cut in half. Now fill out these waivers, Kurenai said, pointing to a large stack of them next to her that had seemingly came from nowhere. Once your team has done that, go get a scroll from the booth over there, Kurenai stated, pointing to a booth 2 Chunin finished putting up. Why do we need waivers? Asuna Shinobi asked. There will definitely be deaths in this section of the exams. The waivers are so I can't be held responsible for them, Kurenai said. Many genin paled, but eventually they all went and filed the waivers out and received their scroll. As Naruto and his team walk over to the stand, Naruto caught the gaze of Gaara. Two stopped and glared each other, causing the temperature of the immediate area to drop. Many of the Chunin hopefuls moved away from the area, and even Naruto and Gaara's teammates took a step away from their malicious leaders. I will find you in that forest, Gaara said, his voice dripping with killer intent. Good, it's so much easier when the prey comes to the predator, Naruto growled. The two continued their stare down until Hinata finally pulled Naruto away from Gaara and to their specific gate. What is the plan? Hinata asked as her team waited at the gate. Well, we have environmental advantage since we train here frequently, Shino said. I suggest that I use local insects while Hinata uses her Byakugan to find targets, then ambush them. It will be quiet and efficient. Agreed, Naruto said while Hinata nodded. Just then Kurenai's voice came out over the intercom. The second portion of the Chunin exams begins now, Kurenai's voice stated. The gates to the forest opened and immediately Team 8 jumped into the forest to begin. Naruto-kun, I can see one group, Ninja, heading straight for the snake pit right now. They're the closest to R and appear to be setting up a trap. The blonde nodded before putting on his hood. I'll take them. You two split up and find groups you feel you can eliminate. Meet at the snake pit by nightfall, Naruto said. His two teammates nodded and went off in separate directions to look for teams to take out. Upon reaching the snake pit, Naruto stopped and stood on a branch looking at the Ninja who was still setting up the trap. Naruto smirked and with a burst of speed was behind one of the ninja. Naruto covered the ninja's mouth before he slit the unprepared victim's throat. Before the Ninja's two teammates could realize what happened, Naruto replaced the Ninja with a hanged shadow clone. Naruto disappeared into the trees with the body just before the two ninja turned around at the spike chakra from using the jutsu. The clone looked around as if to act suspicious of the incident as well. What was that? One of the ninja asked. The shadow clone shrugged before pulling out a kunai. The two other ninja nodded at the clone and pulled out kunai as well. The three jumped into the middle of the clearing and stood in a tight circle covering each other's back. Then in an instant Naruto was in the middle of the circle holding his trench knives to the two real ninjas' throats. The ninjas dropped their kunai and one of them pulled out an earth scroll. "Take it and leave us," the ninja said, dropping the scroll by Naruto's feet. "I will take it," Naruto said before he slit the throats of the two defenseless ninja. As their bodies fell to the floor, Naruto smirked and picked up the scroll. "Not what I needed, but it was something to do," Naruto said as he jumped out of the clearing to go search for more victims. Hinata smiled softly as she looked at the three unsuspecting Suna ninja standing in the clearing. The three were standing in a circle and going over a plan to get a scroll, completely unaware of her presence in the trees. Hinata tapped the seal on her body that contained her bow and the weapon popped into the air silently. The pale-eyed ninja did the same with her quiver and arrows and strapped the quiver to her back. Hinata slowly took out 3 arrows and strung them all at once. "I've never tried 3 at the same time, I wonder if I can get it," the Hyuga thought as she took aim. With a sigh, Hinata shot the arrows only to frown slightly. 2 of the arrows had hit directly between the foreheads of the ninja like she wanted, but the last one had missed the back of the last one's head and hit him in the arm. "Fuck!" Suna ninja screamed as he pulled out the arrow. Hinata dropped from the tree and began channeling chakra into her bow. The Suna ninja tilted his head in intrigue when he saw the limbs of the bow become encased in blades of water. "I never seen somebody do that with a bow," the Suna ninja stated. Then with his good arm the ninja reached behind his back. This allowed Hinata to take notice to dual swords strapped to his back. The ninja pulled one of the swords out of its scabbard and settled into a defensive stance. "I'm sorry," Hinata said as she settled in a unique stance that allowed her to utilize her transformed weapon. The Suna ninja scoffed before he charged. He led with a downward slash that Hinata blocked before she brought the other end of her double blade at his chest. The Suna ninja shifted his body and the water blade missed by less than an inch. The ninja then spun in the opposite direction and aimed a strike at Hinata's waist. Hinata jumped back and tossed her bow in the air. The Hyuga heiress then went through set of hand signs. Water style. Water trumpet. Hinata then brought her hand to mouth and blew out a jet of water that slammed the Suna ninja into a tree. Hinata then caught her bow and strung an arrow. Before the ninja could recover, Hinata let her arrow fly, hitting the ninja right between the forehead. Using her Byakugan, she located the heaven scroll and sighed. Hinata looked at the sky and saw it was getting late. With a smirk she headed for the snake pit only to find a growling Naruto and stoic Shino waiting for her. "What's the matter, Naruto-kun?" Hinata asked as she landed in the clearing. "Naruto is frustrated because while he totaled more kills than I, some of them had already lost their scrolls. This ended up causing Naruto to obtain fewer scrolls than myself," Shino explained, and Naruto growled again. "How many scrolls did you two get?" Hinata asked. "I collected 8 while Naruto only managed 6 scrolls, but he killed 13 teams." "How many scrolls did you obtain, Hinata?" Shino asked. Hinata smiled before pulling out 12 scrolls. "Wow, impressive," Naruto said as he counted Hinata's scrolls. "Hinata, how did you manage so many?" Shino asked. "Some teams had more than 1 scroll," Hinata replied, causing Naruto to growl. "Well, it doesn't matter, let's head to the tower," Naruto said as Hinata put the scrolls back in her pouch and headed for the tower. Only a few minutes into their travels, Hinata stopped. Naruto and Shino, sensing their teammate was no longer with them, the two backtracked to her. "What is it, Hinata?" Naruto asked. "I see Team 7 and they're under attack," Hinata said. "Not our problem," Naruto retorted. "I agree our relations with Team 7 are less than atrocious," Shino added. "But they're Konoha shinobi and we need to help them. The ninja they're facing is beyond the level any genin should be," Hinata pleaded. Naruto rolled his eyes and Shino crossed his arms in a gesture of annoyance. "You're too nice, Hinata," Naruto said. "Fine, we aid Team 7, but if it gets out of hand we pull out." Hinata nodded and took off in a different direction, Shino and Naruto on hers heels, albeit reluctantly. "Kakuku, little Sasuke-kun, you disappoint me. Here you are acting the part of a paralyzed mouse in front of the big bad snake. I thought the sole survivor of Uchiha clan would be more," a tall female Kusa said as she jumped onto the branch where Sasuke and Sakura stood paralyzed in fear. Fang over fang, Kiba's voice shouted just as two spinning drills rammed into the Kusa ninja and slammed her into a tree. The two drills stopped on a nearby tree and Kiba and a clone of himself stood with elongated claws and canines. Overall they looked wild and more feral in appearance. I'm not done yet, Kiba growled. The clone snarled in agreement. You have become a pest and I'll exterminate you now, the Kusa ninja said as she pulled herself out of the tree. Then in an instant the ninja was in front of Kiba with a kunai poised to decapitate him. Kiba gasped in surprise but couldn't move fast enough to block the strike. To his surprise the blow never came though. Instead Naruto stood holding his trench knives and using one to block the kunai. I suggest you leave while I feel merciful, Naruto stated coolly. Well, the demon container has made an appearance, the Kusa ninja said in an amused tone. It seems that the ninja was cut off when Naruto drilled his knee into her solar plexus, launching her away. Just as the foreign ninja got up, Naruto was behind her going through hand signs. Wind style, drilling air bullet, Naruto said before taking a deep breath. The hooded ninja then released his breath in the form of a sphere of air that hit the Kusa ninja and launched her into another tree. Hinata and Shino then appeared next to Naruto and jumped over to Team 7. Come on, she's still alive, I'll come with you while Naruto and Shino keep her distracted, Hinata said as she jumped off with Sakura and Sasuke right behind her. I'm staying, I can't just leave you two to face her by yourself, Kiba said as the clone nodded. Cute, but I'm not interested in you three. Now to my real prize, the Kusa then seeped into a tree leaving the three ninja confused. Prize, Kiba pondered aloud. For a moment the other paused until it came to them. The others, they stated in unison before taking off in the direction Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata went. Now running isn't very becoming of three shinobi. The Kusa ninja emerged from a branch trees in front where the three heading. Sakura and Sasuke froze up at the sight of the ninja but Hinata glared. Just as she was about to respond her glare became a smile. You're one to talk, Naruto said as he stood on the same branch as the Kusa ninja. Kakuku touche, the Kusa ninja said while turning to face Naruto. The blonde stood to her side with his arms crossed. The only things visible under his hood were two blazing red eyes with slits for pupils, quite intimidating Naruto-kun. Naruto didn't respond, instead he disappeared in burst of speed. The Kusa ninja smirked and ducked, dodging being decapitated by Naruto's trench knife. The blonde followed up by throwing a knee at the Kusa ninja who dodged that as well. You really are impressive. I felt the force of those strikes even though they didn't touch me, the Kusa ninja stated as she turned to face Naruto. The blonde growled and launched a barrage of strikes at the Kusa ninja only for her to dodge every last one of them. Kiba and Shino landed next to Hinata, Sakura, and Sasuke moments into the clearly one-sided fight. The five of stood stunned as they watched Naruto and the Kusa ninja become blurs. Yet even then they could tell that Naruto couldn't land a hit on her. This became more obvious as Naruto's chakra tail shot out of his lower back and began aiding him in attacking the ninja. Suddenly Naruto jumped back and the Kusa ninja growled, holding her arm. Blood was seeping out of her hands and then she began to laugh. Cuckoo, I'm impressed you pushed me to using my full abilities and still managed a hit. You're clearly above Genin level. You're Junin or maybe Anbu level, though it won't be enough, the Kusa said as multiple clones of her formed. 3 clones charged to take on Naruto while the rest separated and took on Sakura, Kiba, and Shino, leaving the original to Sasuke. Now Sasuke, let's play, the ninja said as she charged Sasuke. The Uchiha attempted to block, but in his state of fear the Kusa ninja soon began to rain strike after strike on Sasuke. The Kusa glared, then hit Sasuke with a straight kick, sending him tearing through a branch before hitting a tree trunk. You disappoint me, Sasuke. You're nothing compared to Itachi, but he was a prodigy after all, the Kusa ninja said with a frown. Sasuke stood up with his face looking down. When Sasuke looked up, he was glaring intensely at the Kusa ninja, Sharingan blazing, one tomo in each eye. You're dead, Sasuke growled as he charged the Kusa ninja. This time the odds were in his favor. Sasuke could predict the ninja's moves, blocking attacks and striking in the gaps in his defense. Sasuke jumped up and kicked off the ninja's chest, launching himself backwards. Sasuke then pulled out multiple shuriken and threw them at the Kusa ninja. You missed, the Kusa ninja said as she watched the shuriken flew by her. Only as she noticed a glint trail after them did she realize her mistake. Attached to each shuriken was a line of ninja wire and, with a flick of his wrist, Sasuke made the shuriken wrap around the ninja. When the shuriken buried themselves in the Kusa ninja, she grunted in pain while Sasuke brought the wires to his lips. Fire style, dragon fire, Sasuke blew fire on the wire that enlarged and sped up as they traveled along wires. When the fire reached the Kusa ninja, screams of pain emitted from her. The remaining clones dissolved into mud and fell to the ground. The group of genin gathered around Sasuke, who was smirking at Naruto. I guess I'm stronger than Junin level. I barely broke a sweat. With these eyes I will be able to beat him, Sasuke said. Naruto wasn't paying attention. Instead, the blonde's red eyes were focused on the fire that was slowly going out. He's not dead, Naruto growled. Kikuku perceptive as well, you definitely would make a first-rate ninja. A different voice said from the smoke left from the fire. When it cleared, the Kusa ninja skin was heavily burned everywhere. The most surprising thing though was that his face was peeling off, revealing a grown man with pale white skin, purple eyeliner, and yellow eyes with snake-like slits for pupils. The man with a twisted grin pulled off the skin, forcing many of the young genin to hold back their last meals. What are you? Kiba shouted at the man. I am Orochimaru, but I have to leave now, but let me leave you a gift, Sasuke. With that said, the man froze the group with killer intent. Naruto growled but was suddenly attacked by a clone. With the blonde out of the way, Orochimaru extended his neck to impossible lengths. Then, before anybody could realize what he was going to do, Orochimaru bit Sasuke's neck. The Uchiha cried out in pain and fell to his knees while holding the area Orochimaru bit. As Orochimaru left, the killing intent faded, the group began to move. Sakura immediately went to Sasuke's aid. Naruto then returned covered in mud. Dude, what? Kiba started, only to be cut off by a death glare from Naruto. If you finish the question, many terrible things will happen to you. Naruto growled. Enough, we need to find shelter. Our team is fine, but one of your members is hurt and I need a stable location to inspect him, Shino said. The group nodded while Kiba and Sakura picked up Sasuke. With that, they made their way down to the forest floor. With Naruto in the lead, the group located a nearby hollowed-out tree. Sakura and Kiba set Sasuke down and Shino quickly performed a few hand signs before placing his hand on the mark that had appeared on Sasuke's neck. Shino removed his hand before looking to the remaining members of Team 7. From what I could tell, that mark is a seal and it's slowly releasing foreign chakra into Sasuke's chakra system, Shino said. Can't you remove the seal? Sakura asked as she sat beside Sasuke's prone form. I'm studying the medical arts, not fuinjutsu, Shino replied. So what you're saying is you're no help to him, right? Sakura retorted. Shino glared, but due to his shades and mask it could only felt through the subtle killing intent in the air. My team didn't have help you three in the first place. I would be grateful we did that. Shino, Hinata, let's go, Naruto ordered, and his team left, ignoring the apologies and pleas to come back from Team 7. The team followed Naruto toward the tower at the center of the forest when Hinata sighed. We should go back and help them, she said, causing Naruto and Shino to turn to her in shock. No, we attempted to assistance them and they pay us back with ingratitude, Shino responded. But they could be attacked, and with one member down they will be easy targets, Hinata replied. Then hope they give up their scroll to avoid confrontation. Now let's go, the tower is less than 5 minutes away, Naruto said as he and Shino headed off toward the tower. Hinata glanced back in the direction of Team 7 before following her teammates to the tower. Upon landing next to the tower, they were surprised to see Gaara and his two siblings landing by the tower as well. The two teams tensed as Gaara and Naruto began leaking killer intent. It appears fate is not on your side, Gaara said as he stepped in front of his teammates. I disagree, Naruto replied as he mimicked Gaara's movement. Gaara didn't respond, but the cork of his gourd popped out and shot at Naruto's face. The blonde didn't even flinch when a tail of chakra shot out and blocked the cork. Nice trick. How often does it work? Naruto asked, never breaking eye contact. Gaara grunted as sand began to leak from his gourd. Naruto crossed his arms and 8 more chakra tails shot out of his lower back. Die, they both said in unison. Naruto raised his arm and a chakra arm shot forward. Gaara followed suit and an arm of sand shot forward, intercepting the chakra arm. The limbs locked together and began pushing in a battle of strength, only for it to be ended when they both crushed each other. Sand flew everywhere while the red chakra just faded from existence. Naruto then sent 3 of his tails at Gaara only for them to be blocked by a wall of sand. Gaara went through a few hand signs then extended them forward. Soon a shuriken, multiple shuriken then shot out of the sand wall toward Naruto. Unconcerned, Naruto casually pulled multiple shuriken out his weapon's pouch and began channeling wind chakra into them. Naruto watched as all the Suna shuriken were deflected by his chakra tails. Then Naruto added Kyuubi's chakra to the shuriken and the wind blades became visible and tinged with red. My turn, Naruto said as he threw all the shuriken except one at Gaara. The wind-enhanced shuriken tore through Gaara's sand shield like paper before striking Gaara. Luckily for him, none of the shuriken hit fatal areas, but deep cuts decorated his body and blood began dripping from them. Kankuro and Temari gasped as they saw the blood come from the wound. He hit Gaara. Nobody has ever been able to touch Gaara, Temari said as she looked at Naruto with fear. The blonde ignored the comment and began adding his wind chakra and Kyuubi's chakra to the last shuriken. As the blade grew, Naruto didn't stop adding chakra until they made the shuriken the size of a Fuma shuriken. Naruto then stopped adding chakra to it and launched the deadly weapon at Gaara. The shuriken sliced right through Gaara's shield and split the redhead in half at the waist. The 2 halves of his body fell to the floor before turning into sand and blowing away. A sand shunshin appeared in front of Temari and Kankuro, but instead of the sand fading when Gaara appeared, it began to spin around him wildly. You are good, Uzumaki, but I'm afraid you die here, Gaara said as he sent multiple tendrils of sand at Naruto. You aren't much of a shinobi once you get past the sand, Naruto said, now standing right next to Gaara. Your taijutsu is horrible. Naruto the elbowed Gaara in the neck. Gaara-san attempted to protect him, but it was deflected by Naruto's tails. As the tails and sand fought, Naruto unleashed a vicious barrage on Gaara. The redhead, not used to having to defend himself, took the beating helplessly. Suddenly the sand completely encased Naruto and Gaara. Teammate tensed while Temari and Kankuro shook their head. Your teammate's dead now, Kankuro stated. Yeah, being able to land a hit on Gaara is impressive, but now there is no way he can get out of that alive, Temari added. Just as she said that, the sand dome exploded outward and Naruto stood holding Gaara by the collar, his chakra tails thrashing wildly. You don't impress me, Naruto said as he tossed Gaara toward Temari and Kankuro. The blonde then turned away from Gaara and walked back to his team. The redhead began to lose control as he watched Naruto walk away. No, you can't ignore my existence. I won't let you, Gaara shouted. Then he sent an enormous wave of sand at Team 7. Hinata and Shino prepared to perform substitution jutsu, but Naruto turned and released a roar filled with Kyuubi chakra. The roar blasted the wave away and forced the Suna siblings to shield themselves from the sand and wind the attack sent their way. When they looked again, all 3 gasped at Naruto standing right next Gaara holding his trench knife to the redhead's neck. I will end your existence if you try that again, Naruto growled as he stepped away Gaara. The blonde then led his team into the tower. The trio then entered one of the empty rooms at base and looked at the quote on wall. If qualities of heaven are what you desire, then seek wisdom to take your mind higher. If earthen qualities are what you lack, then train your body and prepare to attack. When heaven and earth are opened together, the peerless path becomes righteous forever. This blank is the secret way that guides us from the world today. Hinata read, then turned to Naruto and Shino. Open 1 earth scroll and 1 heaven, just get rid of the rest, Naruto said as he tossed Hinata an earth. He then took the rest of the scrolls he had and burned them. Shino then handed her a heaven scroll before tossing his remaining scrolls in Naruto's fire. Hinata pulled out her scrolls and threw them in the fire before opening up the scrolls Shino and Naruto handed her. It says human, Hinata said. Naruto glanced at the scrolls and then sighed. They're summoning scrolls. Toss them, Naruto said. Hinata nodded and tossed the scrolls just as they began to sizzle. When the scrolls hit the ground, they joined together forming an X. Then the moment they stopped moving, a puff of smoke erupted from them. When the smoke cleared, Iruka stood smiling at the group. Congratulations, you're the first team to pass, Iruka said as looked at the team. Not only that, but you blew the previous record out the water. So what do we do while we're here? Naruto asked. Whatever you want to. There is a training facility, mess hall, and even a game room. Just keep out of trouble until the final 4 days are up. Iruka said as he led him to the main hall of the tower. Naruto smirked, but Iruka caught it. No, you can't go back out and eliminate more teams. Naruto glared but didn't argue. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.